Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and programmers. Let's do Code Academy Lesson 4, Part 3. It's the third of 8 parts. All right, so open Code Academy Lesson 4 and read and try to understand the information on the right in the white box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through it with you real fast so that if you want to, you can slow the video down or hit pause and read through it. So we're reading this stuff over here. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll through for you.
All right. Come on, Ethan.
Okay, and then we're down here to the instructions. Okay, so hopefully you were able to read through that and figure some stuff out. Okay, so make sure you write down a question about that and have that ready for me, either in class when we get back into class. Let's look at example code on the left for bonus points. Okay, so here's the code we looked at. So public class car, what is that called? Public car, that's new. So I'll teach you what that is. So that's the constructor, just so you know. You should know what this is. And what is the car for R equals new car? What's happening there? See if you can figure that out. Write that down in your notes. Well, I'll just tell you the answer. That is the class header. It's saying, hey, I'm teaching you how to make a blueprint for a car. It starts and ends at the curly brace. And then right here is the constructor. It teaches it how to actually build an object, how to actually make a car from these blueprints. This is the main method. This is where you do stuff. And then everywhere from here to the curly brace, and then car Ferrari equals new car. Hopefully you know that that is the format for creating a variable. Okay, so at any rate, but what we're going to focus on now is this constructor method, public car. So let's take a look at the next slide. Write this down in your notes. A constructor is a special method that runs one time when an object is created, and it builds or constructs the object based on the blueprints of the class. The constructor shares a name with the class. So if we look back here, we can see the class name is car and the constructor's name is also car. And I'm actually going to add, I'm going to hit pause here. I'm going to add a line of instruction here. Okay, so I added in a little bit because I said up here a constructor is a special method, and I just wanted to make sure we know what a method is. A method basically asks an object or a class to do something it knows how to do. For example, if I say system.out. And then this part's the method call, print line, hello world. When you do that, when you say print line, you're basically asking the system to print. It already knows how to print, so you're just asking it to do that. So the constructor, yeah, we already got all this. All right, good. Okay, we run the constructor and build an object when we use the new keyword. So if you remember back to our sample code over here, we said car Ferrari equals new. So whenever you say new, that Java kicks in the factory, hey, we're building an object here. What am I going to build? And then you say car, parentheses, parentheses, semicolon. That's going to be, you're going to get really familiar with the parentheses, parentheses, semicolon. That basically says, hey, run the method called car. So it jumps up here. Oh, here's the car method. And it's like, here's our specific instructions how to build a car. In this case, there's not a whole lot of instructions. So it's just going to go with the standard. It's just basically going to go with the rest of the class. Basically, it's like, okay, well, there's nothing special about this particular car. It's going to be a generic car. But at any rate, that's what that runs. Whenever we see the new keyword, um, that builds an object according to the instructions of the constructor. So when we look at this, so if we have that line of code, car Ferrari equals new car, is the variable Ferrari primitive or a class? And then answer that. And then what is the data type of our new variable? And the answer is, by the way, the name of this variable is Ferrari. The data type is car. Okay. And so, which is interesting because we're creating a variable that's holding a data type that we created. So if you look up here, we're creating, oh, hey, here's a car, right? We're defining a car. And then down here, we're creating a box and we're like, hey, put a brand new car in it. So it's kind of something we haven't done before. What is the data type of the new variable? The data type is car. Okay. This is the first time we've called a method that we also define. Oh, I already said that. So calling a method is asking your object to do something that it already knows how to do. You can write that again. We already wrote it down, but I needed to define it earlier. But so this is the first time we've called on a method we've also defined. So we created this method called car, and now we're asking the project to do it when we say car for r equals new car. We're saying, hey, run that method. Okay. All right. So so it says after instruction one, why did the code I am inside the constructor words not print? Let's take a look at that. So let's go to our CodeAcademy. Okay. So if we go to CodeAcademy and we do 3, it says, let's explore how code execution moves around the two files with the two methods. Add a print statement inside our store constructor. Well, here is the store constructor. It starts here and ends there. So we're going to go to line 5. Here, I'm just going to copy this system.out.println. There's no reason to fiddle around with it. Okay, so print line, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do our semicolon at the end. But what do we want to print? I am inside the constructor method. So I'm going to copy that, press Control C. I'm going to click inside here. I'm going to put in my quotation marks, and I'll paste that. Okay. Okay, so here's the question. So when I hit run, okay, now look what it does. It says start of the main method. Okay, so it does this, system.out.println start of the main method, but there's no problems with this. This was written correctly, but it didn't print out I'm inside the constructor method. And the question is, why? Why did it do that? So let's go back to here. After the instruction number 1, why did that not print? Okay, so write down what you think. Write down what you think the answer is. And now I will tell you the answer is because the main method ran, everything from here to here ran, but we never ran this method. We never asked it to store. We never asked it to run this constructor called store. Okay, so if we want that to run, we'll actually have to say store parentheses semicolon and ask it to run. So let's see what's next. We do not see our constructor message printed because we haven't run the code inside that constructor. We never called on that method. Okay, so inside the main, create an instance store called an instance of the class store called Lemonade. Don't forget the new keyword. Okay, so here's how you do it. So you're going to create the instance below. So you're going to say, so the name of the variable is it's store. So when we say the data type, store, and then the name of the box. So the data type is store. The name of the variable is lemonade stand. Store lemonade stand equals, and here's where we use our new keyword. New means, all right, open up the factory. We're building a new object. What object are we going to build? And then we're going to say store. And then we're going to say parentheses, semicolon. Okay. And so basically what's going to happen is like, all right, create me a new store, run this method. So we come up here to store, and it's going to actually build one of these things. And then when we build a store, it's going to run all the code inside here. So if I hit run, okay, so now it's actually running. Not only is it running our main method from here to here. Inside the main method, we said store parentheses semicolon. So everything inside here ran. Okay. Let's go down to number 3. Inside the main, print lemonade stand to see how Java represents this instance. So this is going to be this is weird. I had never done this before until this project. Because it's not something you would normally do. It's just kind of for interest and fun. But it says print the instance below. So we're going to do system.out.println. And we're not printing any particular text. So we're going to say we want to actually print this object. So we're going to try to print the variable, which is kind of weird. So we're going to say lemonade stand. And so the question is, what do you think it's going to do? So the question is what is lemonade stand? So let's go. Let me see if I can explain this in the thing. Okay. So basically, lemonade stand is a box in the RAM that's storing a store. Okay. So we're trying to print this thing. How is it going to represent this box in the RAM? So try to guess what you think it's going to do. When I actually think I guessed right. Did I guess right? I don't know if I guessed right or not. But at any rate, it does something interesting. So if I try to print it, let's see what happens now when I run that. So it's print store at this. So the weird thing is it's basically saying, hey, you have a box. It's holding a store, and here's the location. There's a box in the RAM, and that's the location in the RAM where that box is being stored. So kind of interesting. Okay, so we finished it. We're done. Let's finish up the learning here. So let's go back to our okay. So a method call. So we talked about what a method is. A method is something that our class and object knows how to do. And we always end it with the parentheses, semicolon. That basically means do it. Okay, so whenever we see, oh, I can't see it because the stupid thing is hiding it. Well, whenever we see car, parentheses, semicolon, that semicolon means do it, basically. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's answer these quiz questions here. What does the new keyword do? So we have this code we just wrote. Store lemonade stand equals new store. What does the new keyword do? What is the name of the variable? So we're creating a variable, a box in the RAM. What's the name of the variable? What's the data type of the variable? And is the variable primitive or a class? And so the answer is, what does the new keyword do? The new keyword basically says, hey, open up the factory. We're creating an object, an instance of the class. And so you build one. So right now we built a brand new store. What is the name of the variable? The name of the variable is lemonade stand. What is the data type? It is store. What's the only kind of thing that can go into here is a store. And by the way, this was kind of a mistake on my part because I put a lemonade store. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lemonade store. It could be any kind of store because, but anyway, what is the data type? Store. Is the variable primitive or a class? It is a class because this lemonade store can add money, give change. This lemonade store could tell you how much lemonade's in inventory. So this thing is like a robot that could do all kinds of stuff. Okay. Yeah, we already talked about that. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, and normally I do this in groups of two. So normally I do 3 and 4, but I figured learning about a constructor might blow your mind if we added extra stuff. So I decided just to stop at 3. And by the way, the secret question is, would you rather be a famous movie star or a member of your favorite band or music group? That is the would you rather question for today's attendance. Make sure you do it. By the way, if this is like 10 years from now and there is no attendance, then just ask me, what are you talking about? But if you probably know what I'm talking about.